So theoretically, we're live now, and I do hope the Wi-Fi behaves, because I was telling the guys we had a really bad connection when we were hosting the Schalke Marathon Europe one, and we went down for about 20 minutes, which was not great. But for the training purposes, I think it's fine. I can't really see any of them. You can see they're all frozen. Are they frozen for all of you as well?
Yeah. Should I see anything at this stage as the participant?
You should be. So this is the, again, this is the proof of the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're moving line, I'm moving line.
This is usually okay.
Okay, why don't I grab a wire?
But I don't think this works. I'm not sure if you guys can. So please shout or text or say something, because we can't hear any of you. But I'm just sharing my screen. Okay, Patricia is moving, so I see a sign of life. Thank you, and you know how to use the tool, so thanks again. Okay, so what she did now is actually the first part of this. So on the screen here, Patricia, Crystal, and Shu, of course, cannot see this, but what the guys are able to see here on my in the room is the moderator interface. The main tools for us will be, of course, are here on the left-hand side, and for you guys as well, and of course these horizontal bar here at the top. So beginning on with the horizontal bar here on the top is easy. So the first one, I can see an icon to invite people. Can you both see that? No. Yeah? So you can invite someone else, and it's usually you invite an email or somebody already connected to you. How do I say? Somebody already connected to you on G+, and then you have a mute button, so like the audio tools. You can hide yourself from broadcast and turn your camera off. Bandwidth usage that, let's be honest, nobody here is going to touch, and it doesn't really mean anything for us. And then the settings, this is an important one, and especially if somebody's studying with a laptop, or in your case that you're going to adjust feeds from the camera and the audio feed. So of course I only have one camera on my computer now, but when you do host it with a video crew, here's where you're going to select the feed. And then the microphone, same. So here, of course, in the case, it's because of the my headphones that are not plugged in. And then the internal one, that's the one I'm using now. And then the speakers, of course, are the ones on my machine now. But again, once you do that with the video crew, you can decide to have the audio feed from them. And then here's just a test, but that's all okay. Let me try and share my screen with you guys so that you can maybe see what I'm seeing now. I'm not sure if that can probably be easier, or maybe not. But you can tell me if that's any easier, or if not, I'll switch back to the other screen. I don't think it's that great, but you can. No, this is really weird, isn't it? I don't know why. Anyway, I'll stop then. So, going back to the main menu.
Yeah, can you share via link? But the others can't see, I think. But can you share it to me with link?
Yeah.
Would that be possible?
Oh, Tricia, it's like the IT expert.
No, not really.
Oh, perfect. I think you can see it now.
It's not, yeah, there it is. Yeah, great.
Yeah?
Yes, yeah.
It's not that different than what you can see as a participant, but there's only small differences. But so here again, back to the menu on the left-hand side. This is going to be the most useful tools for you in your case, considering what you're planning on doing with the Hangout. You should really just worry about the two first ones. This fourth one is really important when you use the Hangout sort of in full, but it's not your case.
Can you do me a favour? Can you also show your screen with Crystal Go? So it's GOH, and I think Steph should be able to pick that up. OH, that's the surname, and then Crystal. So Steph, I don't know if you can hear, but we're not a screen.
Yep, she can hear.
Okay, can you see?
Oh, you can see.
What?
I just forgot that I was sharing my screen, so I was like, yeah, she can hear. You cannot see it, right? I don't think your microphone works. No, we can't really hear you.
No, we can't hear you at all.
But we can see you, so that's fine.
But can you see the screen? Can you see what?
Coming back to the main, coming back to this main menu, the first option here is a chat. That's what Patricia already used, and this is an internal chat only, so internal chat. And basically, so only participants. And what this means is, this is with never or whoever external to the ones sharing their screen are not able to see this. So this can be used, let's say, whoever is moderating this year and talking to somebody who's managing this in another location, to say, I cannot hear you well, or do you want to take this question? So let's say, I use it a lot in Shalico Marathon, and so let's say when we get 50 questions being submitted, and then somebody says, please don't take questions from Team X. I don't want to answer that, or sort of choose that one first, or like, we can see your screen, your feed is lost, you're frozen, blah, blah. But nobody else has access to this, so you can see, yeah, on the external feed, that doesn't display. So this is sort of a tool, pretty much. Then this second option here with the green and the white arrow, it already says it's screen share. Again, I don't think you guys will be using this in this specific event, but this is usually used, in my case, let's say, when I want to kill some time, I sometimes play a YouTube video and share my screen so that it plays on for everybody, or when we do slide presentations, we use this to share the slides, and the person has control over the screen, so it's not only sharing, the person actually, so let me see, let me show you what I mean. You can select also which window to share. So
can I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
So there's a significant delay on this compared to what's going on there, about a minute or so.
But it's because of the streaming.
Yeah.
So for instance, for people who are in Abu Dhabi, and they will be like Patricia or Crystal, you can see there is no delay really.
So what I'm thinking about is what's on the screen, because I don't think that we can show this on the screen to the audience because it's so delayed. So they're actually going to have to be a participant, aren't they? We're going to have to show a participant.
I think it would just be fed from the
From the moderator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because whoever is moderator, and that's the hosting laptop, that's the recorded version as well. So you can't choose, you can't be a participant and you have to record it.
Okay.
I'm trying to open a PDF file to show you the sharing screen functionality. So once you share your screen, again, PowerPoint slides, in case you ever need them, they don't really work well. You see a black screen most of the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so I'm not sure Google has sorted that out yet. So sharing, I'd say PDF files or other Chrome windows work really well. But any sort of docs or files, they don't really work. So let me know if you guys can see. Can you see a PDF file? So if I go to the PDF, then sort of you can control that and change, basically useful like a slide share type of thing. And you can control and you can present. So it's not really rocket science. You can see my screen's freezing now, but that's a Shell IT issue that has nothing to do with the Hangout. And then I think that's going to be it for what you need now. But let me just show you again something else that's valuable. And Rich, you can try that now for us to see. So the Q&A functionality needs to be enabled beforehand. So once this is set up, you enable or disable the Q&A option, and that would mean that external participants can then post questions and then you can answer and refer to them. I think it's a really useful tool. I mean, for us in SCM at least, it performs better than any other tool we've tried before. And unfortunately, mine is not really loading quickly enough. But again, that's Shell. So, Rich, do you want to try posting a question? Yep. Oh, somebody that saw this live on Genius. It's okay.
So why is it public? Because you can choose not to have it public.
Yeah, but I didn't have any of you as my audience, so I wasn't able to invite any of you. So I had to. You see?
Yeah.
You would need. I didn't have all the addresses before, so for me to be able to share the link with somebody, I needed to do it. And actually, it's not really public; it's only to my extended cycles. But he's not really seeing it, so it's okay. So when you select a question, you see that will pop on your screen. So I select the question, and then it shows that I'm currently answering that question. Then blah blah blah. You can answer, you can start, you can select in different ways, and then you click done, and you're done. So when you come here, as a sort of moderating tool is really important because you can see the answered questions, and then you can see all the list of the ones you chose to answer or not. And we can see spam questions. We don't have any spams yet, but I'm going to mark this one. You could have marked it as spam, or when they submit multiple questions at a time, Google detects it as being spam. I'm going to delete this one because it's not really relevant. And that's it. Now the other tools are mostly either in a higher professional level that I've never really tried them. So this one, for instance, would give more control, and it's not something that we would do, but it might be something that your specialist that's coming might want to try. I'm not sure if that would be that useful, because you can see it's not that much different. And it's more like if we were to broadcast something even. So I don't think that would be useful for you. This one is more from a control, sort of imagine a control panel perspective. And you can sort of, as a moderator, I can go and control that, but I don't think you guys can see this, can you?
Yeah.
So this would give me the option to manage it a bit better. So you see, like if the screens are not really great, or if there's any issues, and you see that it changes what I'm seeing there. So let's see, with Crystal, you can control sort of the audio volume and blah blah.
Yeah, so if you've got one person who's very loud and another one who's not,
you can change it yourself. But again, in our case, it's unlikely. So the person can control that themselves. Or of course here, you choose the video feed or not. But this is a more sort of advanced control room because you can do most of that by scrolling on top of each participant. So let's see, I want, okay, no offense to Crystal, but let's say that I want to hide her from the broadcast. You can. And if I want to select her to be the main actor, I also can. So you can do that. Well, the moderator is able to do that. And then this one is one of my favorites, but unfortunately I don't think you guys will use it. And I was never able to use it in an SEM, on an SEM1 either. So these are effects that all participants can wear. So if anybody wants to wear one, I'm going to be a princess. So you can see, and it's sort of, it's really cool. You can choose. You can choose to be whatever. The thing is, your hand is here. So if you actually do want to come share the screen with me.
No, you're going to put a princess thing on there.
Okay, I'm going to change and be a pirate. And then it just, moves. But I don't think you'll be using this that much. They have several, they even have...
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's sort of, this is for fun. And you can add sounds and change your background. So like, seems like you are in a more professional, let's say. Or it blurred my background a little bit, can you see? So it's more like, imagine a TV presenter or something. Then the backgrounds can be, depending on how bad or the background is, you can do this. You can see that it didn't really change much, but it just sort of, there's like a blur, like a tilt shift or something behind me. But I don't specifically know, but you can be in, what's the name of the city? Venice, if you want. So it's like a green screen. Again, I don't think you guys will be using this.
So for the stuff that we don't want to use,
the moderator just simply doesn't touch it,
okay.
And that's fine.
But these guys as participants, so like Tom's stuck some horns on his head, which is rather worrying.
And that could happen.
Right, okay, so so there's no way. I mean, I think it's unlikely that this will happen, but there's no way that these things are disabled for participants. They're going to be there, and we just need to make sure that people don't touch them. And then
Patricia is in like a psychedelic.
that's the Dutch for you.
And we can add sound effects as well, my favorite.
Can the Q&A be disabled?
Yes, so that is disabled when you create it, actually. So when you create it, you just deselect the Q&A, and it's not enabled.
The Hangout.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not enabled, so it's easy. And then this last one is even more playful. So I doubt that anybody ever in Shell will be using this at all. So you just put a stamp. So differently than the other ones, these ones. Who is doing this?
Me, of course.
And you can see how bad it is because nobody has any control. Just please, maybe don't.
I don't think because the participants will control it.
No. Yeah.
Just don't tell it to anybody that those exist, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty much the main functionalities, and then what can we see? from a it changed the orders. Can you see this? It's really weird. This is something that I have tried to use, never ever worked, so I'd say just don't try it. So basically this is an attempt for them to make this a bit more like Skype. So what this does is it creates a number for your Hangout and somebody can dial in with a phone only, so if you're only like an audio feed. Never ever worked. So just don't try to make it work on that day, and it's not gonna work. And that's it pretty much. Now, what I said that the moderator might want to do is, for instance, the moderator will be hidden from the broadcast, right? Yeah. So I will go here and I'll hide myself from the broadcast.
Is that okay?
Now you can speak. Are you hearing us now? I'm on.
So, yeah, can they hear you?
Can you hear me?
So Patricia's saying
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess this is ideal for you. If you want the moderator to be off screen again, it shows on mute. The only thing I'd say you guys maybe need to be aware of is considering the feeds, where they all come from. So if the moderators read them from the broadcast and it's the same computer generating the audio feed.
So I think rather than hide the moderator from the broadcast, because the feed's going to have to come from the presenter anyway, audio-wise, as the host, because it's the recording version. So I don't see how it would be used.
Well, I'm still not clear about whether we're going to hide the moderator. So one thing that we know is that the moderator is going to have to control the flow of the conversation based on what the presenter is prompting them on. So the presenter in the studio is going to say, okay, here's a question, Mark, what do you think? And the moderator is going to have to go, right, Mark. So that we need to understand today. What I'm not totally clear about is the moderator kind of hidden? And then, if so, how do we make sure that the kind of audio and visual feed of the presenter is going to the participants? So that's what I'm not. Yeah, see,
I think hiding the moderator, because where Renata's at the bottom right hand side, that's how it views as a participant anyway. So you're not really removing yourself from it. You're just literally putting a bit of a grey screen on. So I think if the audio is going to be coming through from the microphone, so David's microphone, then we either have a camera fed onto him, or just have the black screen where it shows Pecton as the host.
I mean, honestly, I don't see any harm in having a moderator there. The person will have a role. It's not like the person is there doing nothing.
Well, we'll have one anyway, but I think it's just how it shows. So, but I think it will come across as the presenter and almost like the studio, as opposed to.
So the reason that I'm talking about hiding the moderator is much more for the end kind of digital video that we're looking to create, and that video will be made up of people in the studio and these kind of influencers and F1 guys, and I just don't think that we want, one of us.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
I mean, in the end, they will show like so small on screen, so they will never be featured on the main screen.
Yeah.
But if I was to, so obviously we don't want. So if I say, for example, I'm a moderator, we don't want to see my face. So if I turned off my camera, that's the pectin rather than. So that's how it shows as a moderator.
Okay.
And so me speaking would actually be David Greedo speaking, because his microphone is going to be linked to this account.
So that means that the external participants will get a audio feed only.
Yeah, so there's the option of having the pectin for them to see, because actually it's only those 5 people dialing in. But whether we want to make it a better experience for them, then we can feed the camera to David on stage from the side.
The other participants will be talking to a logo. I mean, it's great for the participants, not that much for the viewers themselves.
So I'm not so worried about. The only thing I'm worried about is that they are able to kind of understand the flow of the conversation and answer the questions. I'm not so worried that they don't see a studio. I'm not so.
Yeah, and actually, once David, for example, so he's a presenter. Once he says, so we might be. So Patricia might have been asked a question, and we're focusing on Patricia while he's speaking. So we don't have to necessarily show him, because the question's being directed to Patricia. So we would be showing Patricia. Does that make sense? So we wouldn't just have the pectin talking. So it would go in the direction of whoever the question's aimed at, as an option.
Yeah. So the two options are, well, I think the moderator has to be anonymous, let's say.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the question is whether we want to provide the external participants with both visual and audio of the studio, or is just the audio sufficient?
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically the thing we need to decide. So then, can you just kind of mimic what the moderator would have to do? So if there's somebody in the studio and he says, okay, here's a question and I want Cass to answer it or Patricia to answer it, what do they need to do?
Well, so it's probably better the presenter, because the moderator's not going to be knowing where it's going.
Yeah, so I just actually muted you so that I can do that now. So let's say, consider I'm hidden then from this and you cannot see me. But I do think I could still do that. No, I can only hide from my broker. So again, I think this is what you're aiming on doing, right? So basically, where you see sort of my profile picture now, you would see the pectin, and then of course I wouldn't be speaking, or the moderator wouldn't be speaking. They would only be controlling the screen. So but the audio feed will be coming from that same profile. So it is what's happening now, but basically it's not the moderator speaking, it's the presenter speaking. And then they would say, okay, so Patricia, what do you think about blah blah? So then he would then need to, the moderator then, when the audio feed says, Patricia, what do you think?
I think it's a wonderful idea. Never heard of such a good idea.
Patricia, you're on mute?
Yeah, I was on mute. I tried to answer your question, and then you put me on mute, and then I lost. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Can you try speaking again?
Yes, I'm speaking now. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? I'm speaking. Hello, can you hear me? You can't. Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay. But Crystal can hear me? Okay, when Renata, you in the room, you can't hear me. Let me see. I'm not muted. Now I can hear you.
Present the prompt moderator through their question, so they go, right, question from Mark coming up. This is a question. Moderator knows the questions from Mark. Click on mute.
Yeah, I don't have Patricia muted. I'm not sure why we can't hear her.
Okay.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I might turn. Maybe it was my computer, but I don't know.
No,
Shall I
yeah, but you muted me, and then I couldn't hear you. So when I saw that you muted me, and then I lost all the sound.
Because I just realized, so the audio feed was coming from Cassie's computer actually. And when I started speaking, of course I couldn't hear anything. So let's say again, as a moderator, Patricia will be, I just muted her, so I don't think. Can you try speaking now? Yeah. So.
Hello?
Yeah, you can hear her, and then the moderator can then unmute and select Patricia. No, I think it seems to be Crystal. Or Crystal's talking. But you see the issue now? I'll not be able to unmute her for some reason.
Hi, I'm back again.
Oh,
you unmuted my. Okay.
Yeah, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, so maybe if your moderator has only this open and you're not getting any Q&As, you can just say mute Patricia, and then let's say the question's coming to Crystal, then.
And then what do we need to do to get Crystal on the screen?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So I just clicked.
Steph, we're calling you Crystal, but we know you're not Crystal. It's just your name says Crystal.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So that seems to be all that. The other thing outside of this is just making sure the questions and the flow of the Hangout is really clear in terms of instructing what the moderator needs to do.
Yeah, I think it's more than just saying that
It needs to be scripted, essentially. Not necessarily the answers, but at least, okay, this is the order that we're going to go in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put together a brief running order, it doesn't seem like it would be too difficult to just go camera, audio each time.
I've already done it, they just said 10 minutes for questions on the season. And then they said potential questions.
This needs to be semi-structured, right?
Yeah, and like just like as I was saying yesterday, just like when you do a TV show, the presenter needs to know the cues, and so do the participants, so that they know when they are being addressed. So I mean, I find it unlikely that somebody will not understand when somebody says, "Martin, question for you." Well, they will know that it's for them. if they could just sort of, or just guide the presenter that, is it David?
Yeah.
So let's say every time that he wants to talk to Abu Dhabi, he would say, and then the cue to the moderator would be the word Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Well, probably that won't work, but
yeah, I mean,
that's normal. So you wouldn't be creating an abnormal sort of cue, like I'll say X, Abu Dhabi X.
No, there's no code word.
No, it's just like it's when you, when you're having a conversation, you say, so what do you think? But of course, the person just needs to be a bit more vocal.
No, I agree. It's just that at the moment, the running order that we've got isn't necessarily settled like that, so that's what just needs to be tightened up.
How many people actually going to be on the bottom rack?
I think there's 5.
It doesn't seem like it'd be too difficult to manage. It's not like you've got 100 people trying to work out the same one.
It's a relatively small group. So I think it's just about tightening up the running order, making that clear, and then on the day making sure those prompts are really, are there basically.
I think the only reason we want it to be more structured than this, for example, is just because we've got people sitting down in a particular.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's only for that really, so that it's not.
Yeah, what you don't want is somebody to start answering the question, but actually they're muted and they're not on screen, and then it's
It's just a bit more controlled.
Yeah.
Well,
and rely on technology. If the technology fails, then it's going to be as good as possible unless you share off. But if suddenly the mute button doesn't want to work, then the mute button doesn't work. So maybe a contingency plan for if that happens. Throw back to the presenter and, can you go to the audience? Do you have an extra camera there just in case they're all good to share?
Well, and again, I don't think that's an issue because, as I was telling you, even if it fails, people now understand that it is a technology barrier. So it's normal for those things maybe to fail once. When Obama did his Hangout from the White House, he had audio issues. And it's just like, guys, bear with me, and then wait a minute, and then he comes back to the screen. So it's just sort of even giving the presenter some, if you want to not stage an issue, but giving like, as I was telling you, please wait a few seconds when you send it to the question to Abu Dhabi because there might be a delay for the audio feed to get there. You can prepare him or equip him with some sort of things that he can say if there's an issue. And it's not sort of bad. How many times are you watching TV and they're doing a live feed from somewhere else and then it drops?
Yeah, no, I agree. There's always going to be something that doesn't work right, but I think it's just like minimalising it.
Yeah, and it's just like, they're sending a question to an influencer, I don't know, James, that is sitting God knows where. Are they all going to be in Abu Dhabi?
There's 3 in Abu Dhabi, but in different locations in Abu Dhabi. And then there's one that's not in Abu Dhabi.
So, let's say James is in the paddocks in Abu Dhabi. So David will say, James, for you in the paddock, how blah, blah, blah. And then James cannot answer or cannot connect and say, okay, James, we'll get back to you soon. Now, audience, what do you think, blah, blah.
Exactly. So this is just what needs to be, all this is fine. It just needs to be briefed in properly so everybody understands this.
And it's more like, have you spoken to David? So it's just like, basically, he just needs to understand it is using cheaper and easier tools. It is a TV show setup. So. Most people that interview Kimi have to do that anyway, right? Because it doesn't answer the question. It's like, what do you know? And then.
Yes. That's a Crystal.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, gotcha. So is this like reasonably clear to you? And I know that Crystal's briefing David, so I don't know if you've heard the conversation, but we just think it's really important that everybody, like presenter, participants, etc., know exactly how this is going to work and what they need to do and understand the technology. So are you clear? Are you have you got stuff out of this that that you or Crystal now need to kind of brief into David and the rest of the people?
Yeah, so we're briefing more on a messaging perspective. I'm not sure we would be the people to brief them in terms of technology, because I don't see David. Sorry?
I think it's one and the same thing. I mean, essentially the brief is the role of the presenter, and you know, the reality is that the role of presenter here is both asking questions, but asking them in a way that is kind of, you know, sensitive to the
technology. Yeah, in that sense, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So what probably needs to happen is that if you can feed back to Crystal, but I think there's some work to be done on the structure of the Hangout, the level of control and the level of control that we need it to have, so that it's easy to moderate but doesn't, you know, come across as unnatural and over-structured, if you like. And then there needs to be really clear briefs that are going into the presenter, but also the participants as well, so they know, you know, that they're going to get a prompt and the moderator is going to put them, you know, switch their audio on so they can answer the question. So I think what we want to do in the Hangout is pretty much there, but the critical thing over the next few days is that the briefings are all really clear and appropriate for this type of activity.
Yes, so that's definitely doable. So we will brief them in terms of the moderator will moderate and change them from mute and off mute. What I know is that they probably won't be able to do is control the screen switch. So when you, for example, take the big screen, that's the only confusion I know.
That's fine. So,
okay,
so
cool.
there will be a moderator whose kind of specific role is to do that, so to control who's the main image and make sure that they've got audio live.
Okay.
But that decision almost will need to be prompted by the presenter when they're asking the question. So they'll need to say, here's a question, we'd like Mark in Abu Dhabi to answer that, and at that point the moderator goes, right, Mark, image, volume, away you go. So it's that I just think is, we know what we want to do in the Hangout, we've now got a good understanding of the role of the moderator and how it works. It's now just tying those things really nicely together so it all goes smoothly on Thursday.
Yeah, so that's what they've been briefed to do so far. So, for example, David Garrido, we've told him to make it very clear as to whose screen should be on, as in, you know, over to John and James in Abu Dhabi, for example.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. I think on Monday there needs to be a test, where you've got a presenter and 5 participants, and you just go through the script.
And I know Clive, I think is the one that's managing the video.
Yeah.
He really wanted to test full sort of camera and equipment because, of course, the professional camera feed is not accepted on a shell computer.
Right. Yeah, so we've got a Mac to work that, but yeah, we need that. I mean, there's at least 2 trial runs before this goes live on Thursday. Maybe
it's not even the Hangout itself. It's for you guys. You need to think of where's the camera going to be placed, what's the feed going to be shown on the screen, that the participants see on site. The Hangout is going to be the easiest thing.
Imagine on big screen.
Well, I don't think it would because there's such a delay.
Not on none of us are seeing that right now.
None of us are seeing what? Isn't that this?
No, so that's the
No, that's being a
Well,
viewer.
that would be a viewer.
that's really possible.
Yeah, but it's not like second by second. There is a small delay.
This is really important.
Yes, I'm going to stop this. So as it's going, let me share my. I can try to open another browser. great graphic. Okay, let's see this one. It's not. It's going to be, if the shell thing behaves, it's not going to be that bad. Because I was telling the guys. Yeah. So you just see, trying to get it as we are now, but it's still showing crystal for this profile, and I cannot move it sort of farther. Okay, she's still showing those. Let me just change it to me and see what we can see now. 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, here, but here you can already see. No, it took what, maybe 30 minutes to 30 seconds to 1 minute. But, I mean, you could be sharing this, no?
No, I think that's probably the only option you've got, really. Well, find it on YouTube, find it on Google, so it's either the moderator or a participant.
So the only issue would be, because if you share, let's say, if you're sharing the screen from the moderator, you would see them sort of working. I don't think that would be ideal. Could you not, let's say, I'm going to hide Tom from the broadcast now. So let's say you could have like an invisible participant. Or like, can you not do a profile called like Shell Motorsports that comes in as a participant, but you, so basically what's happening now, can you still see everything? So you could have like Shell Motorsports there. The participants on site would still see it. Or even if he switches his camera off, you would just see a Python. And you could have that feed on the main screen at the venue. I mean, it's not, again, I don't, that's, the issue with that would be if you use that to activate content using that Google account, but in this case, you wouldn't. You can discontinue the account after this.
I mean, that's an option. You can't do it